Hey guys, Small Town Bassin here, and welcome to Tech Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about trolling motors and power sources, guys. So get ready. If you want to power your kayak, I'm fixing to give you everything I've learned over the past few years. So stay tuned. So to start this off, there's a few questions you need to ask yourself. Number one is, if I put a motor on my kayak, am I going to buy one made for it, or am I going to build it myself? Number two, if I build it myself, how am I going to mount it securely to the kayak, and how am I going to operate it? Number three, what type of power source am I going to be using to power my kayak? And finally, what exactly do I plan to get out of this motor? Okay, guys? So it's a few basic questions you're going to ask yourself, and you need to have some pretty good answers and a pretty good solution to every one of these problems. Okay, the first one we're going to go over is buy or build. Okay, guys? Now, there are a few companies out there that manufacture motors for kayaks. The first of which, and the most well-known, is Torqeedo. Torqeedo makes a quality motor. You consider it an outboard. It's not a trolling motor. It's a kayak outboard. It's an electric motor. I think nominal 36 volts actually, but they just tell you watts. You know, they're running the motor on watts. All right, so whatever the wattage it is, I really don't know. I don't spend much time studying Torqeedo, but it's a powerful motor, guys. It's about a 1-horse motor. It is made to retrofit directly to specific kayak hulls, okay? One model at least. It will mount to your original mounting hardware on the back of a kayak. Not typically this one, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea. It'll mount directly to that. It will have steering linkage. It will have lift linkage, that sort of thing. Catch to that is, guys, it's freaking expensive, man. Torqeedo does not make an affordable motor. These are just my opinions now, but I mean, it's high. So, I mean, if you can go that route, more power to you. Most of us can't. But that's an option. Another motor manufacturer makes the Bixby. Now, there are similar motors to the Bixby out there. It is a shrouded prop, okay? It's not really a jet. It's just a shrouded prop. It's called ducting, okay? So they duct their prop. They take the design from underwater ROVs, right? Same principle. Submarines have the same thing. They also make a quality motor, but it is built for slow speed, small scale. It's so lightweight and portable. They can't pack too much power into the battery pack. I mean, the longevity is just not there, but that's another option. So that's just a couple of options out there for the pre-manufactured version of what I'm going to show you. Number two, the DIY guys. All right, guys, now that's who I am. If I see something and I feel like I could do that myself or do it better, then I'll give it a shot. Now, I think that's what I did here. Now, I've had several powered kayaks that I built. First one was a FS12T, and what I did with that one was, instead of really modifying much on the motor or building a mounting bracket, I used the original transom mount on the motor. You see that motor there, and I only modified the head and put the switch on a long cord that reached all the way up front to me. That worked out great on the Ascend. I built a permanent transom that bolted to the back of the kayak. Imagine it was just like a plank of wood on a steel bracket. The steel bracket was bolted to the kayak. The piece of wood was bolted to the steel. So the transom just clipped right on. I put steering cables up to the foot pedals, and I steered it with the steering linkage. Let me show you that too before I forget. So steering linkage on the motor. Cables just clipped onto that. When I pushed with one foot, it would pull. The other foot, it would turn one way or the other. All right, so that's where I started. Then I moved into the Predator and I powered it, and I knew I could do it better than the first time. Now with the Predator, I put a much larger motor. That first one I showed you was a 30-pound thrust. All right, let's get into types of trolling motors for the DIY guys. Now there's a few good quality manufacturers out there. First and foremost is Minn Kota. Then you've got Water Snake, you've got Motor Guide, you know, these are big names. They typically range from 20 to, for a kayak, I'm gonna stop it at 55, guys. So they make them bigger than that, but we'll say 20 to 55 pounds thrust. That's a pretty good range. Depending on what you want to get out of the motor, you got a pretty big window to choose from. I mean, you got a lot of options there. Personally, I choose Minn Kota because Minn Kota is tried and true. They've been around for a long, long time, and their motors are amazing. Personal opinion again, guys. But I've never had a Minn Kota fail on me, and I've been using them for years. A lot of power options. Now, the first motor I showed you was a 30-pound thrust. It was a good motor. Not much power there. Took it a minute to get up to speed. But it was a good motor. It was quiet. Slow amp draw. I mean, it didn't pull much current, you know, on full throttle, which was good for battery life. The next motor I'm going to show you is actually a 50-pound thrust Minn Kota. Don't look at the prop. Don't look at that. But it is a 50-pound thrust Minn Kota that I put on the Old Town Predator. And this is a custom bracket I made with a quick release pin that locks the motor in with steering linkage. Alright, same scenario as the first one, except this is on the Predator. This is a very powerful motor, guys. The only drawback is it's very heavy and it draws a lot of current. It takes a lot of power. Alright, so you got to have a pretty good sized battery bank to even use something like this. Otherwise, your time on the water is going to be cut short. And then another option you have is buying a kayak with the motor in it. And I also have the Predator MK. It's got a motor console that actually sits right here. I can show that to you. Motor console right here. And it's powered by a 45-pound thrust saltwater grade Minn Kota. It is in between your legs and it steers with a rudder on the back. So that's another variable there to think about as far as steering and what you like and don't like. I personally like the motor in the back, and I steer with thrust. I don't much care for the motor in between my legs steering with the rudder because the rudder's not as responsive, guys. The rudder takes a minute to grab water and turn. The DIY guys, you really need to think about how you're going to mount this on there. I'm blessed, fortunate enough to have the means to be able to fabricate what I need to make it happen. Not everybody has that opportunity. You do have the opportunity to contact some guys online that build these for a living, actually. I mean, it's an up-and-coming thing, and guys are getting in on it, and they've come up with a few designs. They fabricate them, they sell them. You just tell them what kind of kayak you have, and they will match it to that whole design. Now, a lot of the retrofit will be left up to you. All they're going to do is build the bracket. You've got to install, modify, connect, whatever you have to do to make it work. But that's an option for the guys that aren't fortunate enough to be able to do the fabrication on their own. All right, guys, now you gotta ask yourself, what do you want out of it? Are you fishing big water, little water? Are you taking short trips, long trips? Do you want to go faster, or do you want to go longer? You know, what do you really want to do? And these are things that you need to figure out before you get started, because let me tell you, man, I sunk a lot of money into it, getting the first one going and figuring out what I really wanted before I end up with the final product, which still hadn't happened yet. I'm going to chop this motor console up for this dude right here and put the motor in the back. I can't handle it between my legs, but that's beside the point. You're going to spend a lot of money trying to figure out what you like, guys. So save yourself some time and money and ask yourselves all these questions before you ever get started. Shop around, figure out what's going to work best for you. If you know somebody with a powered kayak, ask them if you can go out with them and try it one day. Decide whether or not you like it. I know a lot of guys that would love to have it, but at the end of the day, they prefer to paddle or pedal. It's all user preference, guys. I mean, there's no rule to it. I'm just showing you what I've done, and hopefully a lot of the things I've done can help you make an educated decision. Final question: how are you going to power your beast of a kayak? Now that it's got this badass motor on the back, well, how are you going to power it? Well, what are you going to do? You're going to put 24 volts of lead acid in the back end of a plastic boat? Probably not, man. I suffered with a lead acid, a 12 volt lead acid on my 12 volt motor. And them damn things are heavy, man. They are too heavy to be put in the back of a kayak. But that is an option. And let me tell you, right now it's the cheapest option available. I went through several batteries. I would buy them. Man, I'm on the water all the time, so I would use them so much. I would deplete the capacity of the battery. It would charge up, 6 months into owning it, it would charge up. I'd get on the water a couple hours later. It was pretty much dead. I basically ruined the batteries using them so much. It's a deep cycle, but it's not a rapid deep cycle. I would use it 3-4 times a week, every week, non-stop. And I would run it until it wouldn't run anymore. You just can't do that with lead acid. It's not meant for that. Another option you have is building a battery. Now I say building a battery because I'm talking about the smaller 12 volt batteries. You can increase your amp hour capacity by running them in parallel. So you'll still have 12 volts. Imagine them chained together. They're all 12 volts and you still have 12 volts, but if you have a 10 amp, 10 amp, 10 amp, 10 amp, you put all four together, well now you have a 40 amp hour 12 volt battery. That's something that you can do. People are doing it, guys, and they're even doing it with lithiums. So that's an option. Lithium is lighter. It's a more dense power source. Now all this depends on what you want to do. Are you just taking short trips? Well, you might be okay with a 35 amp hour lead acid battery. Yeah, it's still going to be heavy, but it'll give you what you want to fit your style of fishing. Does that make sense? You don't have to have a 100 amp hour battery like I do or like some of these other guys do just to put a motor on your kayak. If you put a 20-pound thrust water snake in a 35 amp hour battery because you just want to get past the surf, if you're an offshore fisherman, or you just want to go from A to B, or you just want it for that emergency to hurry up and get back in case of inclement weather or anything that goes on, you need to get back and paddling's just too slow. Just a slow fishing, man. Some of these guys pitching jigs, nothing but jigs all day and night. Shit, they'll sit on one spot for 2 hours, doing that. I can't fish like that, man. But some people can, and the trolling motor will get them where they need to go. They can go with a small package like that. Another option you have, and this is by far my most favorite, and this is going to be an unbiased video, but just a disclaimer, I'm sponsored by Battleborn Lithium Batteries. Best LiPo4 battery out there by far, bar none. Amazing power source. But you've got lithium. 100 amp hour lithium. Now these batteries right here are extremely light and extremely dense power source. Batteries are amazing. Now I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford a lithium battery. I saved up and I bought it. Trust me, it was like, I was gritting my teeth when I made the buy because I had no idea what was going to happen. Lithium's new, especially in the marine world. It's new, but it paid off. By far the best investment I ever made as far as my kayak fishing goes. Anyway, you've got that option. Now, if you're a guy like me and you're on big water, you want to go far and fast, you've got a big trolling motor, you need a big power source, and that's what I've got. I've got a 100 amp hour lithium battery. So you've got a lot to think about when you're putting a motor on your kayak. There's a lot of options out there. None are wrong, guys. Do not be afraid to be the guy to get the small battery and the small motor and it's just everything small and cheap. But if that's what you want and that's all you need, who cares, man? It's yours. Do what you like and what you love and do what it takes to keep you doing it, guys. There's no wrong answer here. All there is learning experience. Now, I look back on everything I've done. I can tell you, yeah, I shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that, should have just waited and got this. I spent, $500 to wind up with a final $200 product. You know, what gives? Well, it's a learning experience. None of those decisions were wrong. I learned the hard way, and I learned the right way, guys. Some of the things you may be thinking may not be the best way to do it, but it's your learning experience. Hopefully what I've just told you can give you a little insight into it before you make that decision. And hopefully you'll make a decision that suits your fishing needs best. I hope you enjoyed this really quick, really messy Tech Tuesday video, but today is actually Tuesday, man. I'm just now filming, just now headed to the house to get it edited. I fished all weekend trying to cull up in this tournament. Wound up going out on a boat with Crispy. Didn't have time to do it yesterday. I actually forgot yesterday was Monday. I was thinking it was Sunday, so I thought I'll just do the video tomorrow, upload it Tuesday. Well, today's Tuesday. Go figure. Alright guys, apologize for that. If you like this, please subscribe. Tell friends to subscribe. Hit that little icon at the bottom. It's red. It says subscribe. Punch that if you're not a subscriber. Like the video, and until next time, you keep on fishing.